From Ziva's seemingly bipolar relationship with kosher to Gibbs downright forgetting when his own daughter died. These are the biggest plot holes in NCIS of all time. Starting off with Ziva's obsession with kosher foods. It seems like the character's been playing fast and loose with her kosher diet. Yes, you heard it right. Her loyalty to all things kosher has been spinning faster than a dreidel on Hanukkah. Now, some of you may be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just food, right? Well, folks, for true connoisseurs of kosher, it's a big deal. It's not only about what you eat, but how you prepare it and even where you eat it. There's a whole set of rules and regulations that have been followed for centuries, and to deviate from it is a major faux pas. But that's exactly what Ziva's been doing. One moment she's chomping down on a kosher deli sandwich, and the next she's scarfing down some bacon like it's nobody's business. It's like she can't make up her mind. And let me tell you, this hasn't gone unnoticed.
Oh, come on, I watch TV. You guys must swing deals like this all the time. Oh, here, these are hammer and sickles. Randy's famous for them. It's...
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Well, not the most sympathetic victims. Perhaps the killer believed they deserved to die.
Fans have been raising eyebrows faster than you can say oy vey. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Ziva, but seriously, who changed their culture, born and bred habits at the drop of a hat, and then slip effortlessly back into them without even batting an eye? It's like watching a game of matzo ball roulette. So, to go kosher or not to go kosher? That is truly the question. And that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the show's history with plot holes. I mean, just look at Gibbs and Tobias. You know how we all love combing through the narrative with a fine-tooth comb.
It appears that table is where the creep made his bomb, as in the bomb that blew up.
Forget about my damn boat.
Hey, what's going on with you? Who are you calling?
Looking for any little detail that might give us a clue about what's going to happen next? Well, it turns out there's been some questionable twists and turns in the plot that we might have missed. In the early days of the series, back when the two first met, the script had them both be complete strangers who didn't know each other from a bar of soap. But there's a wild development in the narrative that emerges as the series progresses. Turns out that these two so-called strangers actually share an ex-wife and have something of a history together. Can you believe it? How did we miss this earlier on in the series when they met? And how could they be completely oblivious to the other's existence? It's like something straight out of a soap opera, but it's far from the only continuity error in the series. Another can be seen in Gibbs and Ducky's friendship.
I'm worried about you, Jethro.
I'm fine.
No, you are not fine. Well, have you considered letting McGee take point on the Zaccato case?
I'm not walking away from this.
It seems that it's not always easy to keep track of time when writing dialogue, especially when it comes to exchanges between good friends. Take the dynamic duo, for example. According to the plot, they've only known each other for a decade, which might seem like a pretty long time for some, but their relationship seems to go a whole lot deeper than what the show leads us to believe. As they start reminiscing and sharing memories, it becomes abundantly clear that they've known each other for a lot longer. But can you really blame them? When you've been through the kind of shenanigans that these two have, 10 years would probably feel like a drop in the bucket. Sometimes, though, plot holes are a product of a simple mistake in the script. I mean, being swept away by a gripping story is one of life's greatest pleasures, but it can be quite challenging to catch subtle hints and connotations while you're busy getting lost in the narrative. Nevertheless, there's always a few eagle-eyed audience members you can rely on, who can easily spot blatant mistakes in the script's nitty-gritty detail.
If Harry is not a Mossad mole, but a terrorist?
Mine, I suppose, since I'm his control officer.
Take, for example, the instance where Gibbs and Ziva first meet. Gibbs brings up the Munich assassinations and mentions that the waiter involved in the incident hailed from Palestine. But guess what? A quick Google search will reveal that this isn't right. According to Discovery, that waiter was really from Morocco and not Palestine. Oops. Now, you might think that such a small error isn't a big deal, but hey, every detail counts when telling a compelling story, especially when that detail involves an entire culture. You might be able to evade the cultural appropriation allegations if you do it wrong, but still, it's a glaring oversight to make such a basic mistake. If you're unfamiliar with another culture, it's all too easy to default to a certain way of perceiving or doing something without thinking if it's done the same way by people from different cultures. And let me tell you, even the narrators and directors of your favorite TV series can end up getting caught in this trap. Take, for example, a scene in Season 4, in the episode of Grace Period, where we see Ziva reading reading a piece of Arabic script after a suspect has been killed. Most viewers won't see anything unusual about this scene, but if you're familiar with the language, then seeing her reading the script from left to right would set off alarm bells in your head. You see, folks, according to the Arabic script, you read and write stuff starting from right to left, not the other way around. It's a pretty huge mistake for a series that prides itself in coming up with complex cases and scenarios. Google is free, you know. If the show's anything to go off of, then the writers aren't all that tech savvy. While NCIS has a reputation for showcasing actual real-life forensic technology, sometimes the narratives around the use of technology don't always add up. Take, for example, the scene where our beloved goth girl and nerd guy both get hacked and decide to team up to catch the hacker. Now, I don't know about you, but it seems pretty impressive that they're able to share one keyboard to do so. And not only that, but somehow this one keyboard is also able to power two separate screens. I mean, they must be really good at what they do. Now, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade here, but it seems like the producers may have missed a small detail when filming this scene. All jokes aside, this is a prime example of how even the smallest inconsistencies take away from the realism of a show. And when it comes to NCIS, where forensic technology is a major part of the storyline, it's important to pay attention to these details. Speaking of which, the show's portrayal of flashbacks also leaves much to be desired. But when it comes to action scenes, getting them right is crucial in leaving a lasting impression on viewers. And let's be real, who doesn't love a good action scene? Sometimes even the most intense and thrilling scenes can have small inconsistencies that end up detracting from the overall impact. Remember Gibbs's flashbacks of the killing of Pedro Hernandez. In one scene, Gibbs shoots Hernandez with his trusty sniper rifle, and the bullet enters the front windshield of the vehicle before hitting Hernandez in the forehead. One shot, one kill, right? But fast forward to season 7, and suddenly, the trajectory of the bullets completely changed in a flashback of the event. We now see the bullet entering through the driver's side of the vehicle, hitting Hernandez on the left side of his head. Now, unless the writers were actually trying to portray how memory distortion occurs over time, that right there is a gaping plot hole if I've ever seen one. However, that's still not as bad as forgetting that one of the characters is supposed to be dead. In the episode Honor Code, Gibbs thinks about a time when his daughter Kelly was still alive and pictures them working together on his boat. The scene shows her wearing an NCIS shirt, which would have been a cute little addition to the story if only Kelly hadn't died before Gibbs even joined NCIS. And if that wasn't enough, the flashback shows Gibbs with gray hair, which doesn't match up with the fact that his hair remains black for quite a while after Kelly's death. Looks like the studio needs to hire a continuity expert or just rewatch their show every now and then. So, there you have it, ladies and gents. From Gibbs downright forgetting when his own daughter died to Ziva's seemingly bipolar relationship with Kosher, those were the biggest plot holes in NCIS of all time.